We are back with the Minerals Commission once again. Today we are talking about the procurement list. Last week some conversations started already on that, and today we are going to continue doing that. Remember that you can watch this interview on the Minerals Commission's own social media handles. You can find them on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and on Instagram. Just look for Minerals Commission Ghana. Last week in our time with the Minerals Commission, we talked about the published local procurement list, 4th edition, for goods and services in line with the Minerals and Mining Local Content and Local Participation Regulations 2020 LI 2431. Today we are going to continue that deliberation, and the CEO of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Martin Ayisi, has joined us for a recap and some more details. Mr. Ayisi, good morning and welcome once again.
Morning.
So we are talking about procurement and local participation. When we look at what the Minerals Commission is seeking to do, especially when it comes to listing even mining companies on the stock exchange, we know that a lot of changes are bound to happen. But tell us, before we even get into the local content side, what's happening with the enlistment process on the Ghana Stock Exchange and what the prospects for the companies and the public would be once that's finalized.
Thank you, Tema, and good morning. And actually, I was here 2 weeks ago. Let me apologize to the public for not making it last week. I had to travel for an equally important assignment, so I'm back.
We both are.
Yes.
I wasn't here last
Yes,
time.
you also not here, so I had to deal with your colleague, Valerie. Let me say this. See, if you look at the law, it says local content and local participation. Local content and local participation. An aspect of the law also requires that companies that are operating here list on the stock market. And it's important for 3 reasons. 1, we keep saying and repeating that we've been mining over 100 years. There's a particular mine that is about 125 years. Mining is not benefiting us. Obuasi is not looking like Joburg or Cape Town or Perth or Toronto or Vancouver. What normally happens in the mining scene is that these millions of dollars they use in putting up these mines, the money mainly come from outside, either through some loan from some bank in Canada, US, or what do you call it, Australia, or they raise the money through the stock market there. So either Perth, Toronto, Vancouver, or London, where practically they have no mine. I don't remember when the last coal mine even, was closed down. Or they tap into some hedge fund or some private equity. Remember, when they bring these monies here, they have to repatriate them. So the only way we can also benefit from the sector, if we want mining to lead to broad-based development, is to ensure that these things are done here, or they raise the money here. So the law says that, to be precise, Regulation 13 of LI 2431, it says that companies that are operating here should list. But then what are the modalities? The minister responsible for mines, in this case, will have to determine the limits of local equity of the capital expenditure you must list. Because you see, it's one thing saying, let us get up and go and list, and it's one thing saying that you qualify. So we are not the regulators. So we have to, because the stock market is a different ballgame altogether. So you have the Security and Exchange Commission and then the GSE. For the last 2-3 months, we've been working on them, you see, and working with them on the modalities. What should go into the listing? I'm happy to announce that the process has been completed. We have engaged the mining companies, and then we'll go back finally to them to lay out everything. Today we shall meet the minister and give him a full briefing as to where we are. And I'm proud to say that within 2 weeks, you see the first listing. So again, yes, again we are, this is not for the time for me to disclose which company, but it's just to tell you how far we have progressed.
And the minister will give us better details once you're done with those engagements.
We'll brief him as to what we've done so far and bring him to speed as to the work we have done. But over the last 3 months or so, the work we've been doing with the Security and Exchange Commission and also the Stock Exchange shows that one company has almost, if not passed the test, and is ready to go to the stock market within 2 weeks or less.
Just one?
For now.
As against how many?
Why? Because you see,
prospectively,
the modalities are different. For instance, we need to ask, who qualifies? Should we say $100 million or any company that is $200 million investment or capital qualifies? What should be the cutoff point? Those are the things that we are working with the company.
But those are questions I'm sure came to you at the table when you were talking about this. And whichever company has now almost qualified to be on the stock exchange has met certain criteria.
Of course.
What are those?
Well, when we met the Securities and Exchange Commission and Stock Exchange, what they did was that if you want to get into the stock market, we require the following information from each mining company and on the industry. We provided same. And then we discussed with them, they did their work, came back, and then they requested for data on all the mining companies. Again, we submitted that information to the Securities and Exchange Commission and Ghana Stock Exchange. They finished the review. To be honest with you, even this company even went ahead to even start the process before we came out with the modalities. So that's where we are. We are on course, and one is ready. We will get a report on the others too, once they also pass the test, and then they will also list. But bear in mind that the law says that those that are not able to meet the criteria, we will have to work with them for them to meet the criteria within a certain specified period. Now, I keep saying this. Take a very big multinational like Anglo Gold Ashanti. I think that's the largest producer of gold in in Africa, and one of the top 10. They have 2 big mines in Ghana. The Obuasi mine, which is over 100 years old. And then they have one in Iduaprim, that's Takwa area. They are listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and other stock exchanges across the world. They don't have a single mine in South Africa. Anglo Gold Ashanti has sold all their interests in South Africa. Yet they have 2 big properties in Ghana, which, if you put together, gives them about between 500 and 600,000 ounces. Why can't they list in Ghana here for us to buy shares? Why should they go outside and be bringing money and then take the money back? Look at the currency crisis we are having, if I could say that. The cedi. So we need more of the inflows here. So if we can raise the money here on the stock market, the money stays here, and then we also become owners of the mine in a way. But then you are giving meaning to the term local participation. That is the crux of the matter.
Apart from trying to raise the revenues for the mining companies to operate and then stem the flow of the repatriating the proceeds, we want to see mining companies getting more infrastructure, more amenities, and bringing them up to speed to the level of the cities that you've mentioned. How is the listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange specifically going to address the shortfalls of mining communities where the mines are located?
Maybe I'll prefer we stay on course, because I have a whole different presentation which I'll be coming here to do on how mining communities can impact positively.
I think I'll be very interested in that.
We'll
and the Ghanaian public would be very interested.
And we're actually coming out with a law to formalize these so-called community development agreements, which for now is voluntary. But the stock market, they have to. But we have to follow the rules. And I'm saying there's good news. 2 weeks, I'll come here and give you the good news. In fact, next week, once I'm able to get the schedule for the SEC and GSE, we will come here. And then they will come and explain to us.
And you give us all the details.
Yes, they will tell us.
So let's get into
so I'm expecting that you buy some of the shares when these things are sold. Then we can give meaning to local content.
Local content and participation. But there's a list, and you've given me this document that I have before me. And you've just told me that you have 41 items on the 4th edition of the procurement list. Tell us what the list is all about and what it's meant to achieve. Are these guidelines that should influence mining companies' purchases of goods and services?
All right. Thank you, Thelma. Again, let me start this way. If you check our reports and our records, at least $2 billion is spent, by the mining companies to procure various goods and services. The figure will go up, raising, mines are expanding, new mines are coming up. So we may be heading to the region of $3, $4, $5 billion in the next 2-3 years. A few statistics, and you can understand what I'm saying. You need to understand I want to lay the foundation so that you get the picture properly. So take Bibiani mine, for example. They're going to spend about $200 million to redevelop the mine. And they're going to do it within a year or two. Wasa is sinking about $1 billion in the mine. Ahafo, Newmont, another 800 million. And of course, what do you call it? Anglo-Gold Ashanti, that is also spending about 800 million. So within the next 3 years, we're looking at about $3, $4, $5 billion. Most of this investment, goods and services. So our job is to ensure that many of these things go to Ghanaians, and then the money will stay here. And some of the projects are quite big. I mean, 100 million, 40 million, 30 million here and there. And a whole lot of things will go into it. There's a very big mine coming up north. It will cost close to about $500 million. You need a lot of people to be on the construction side, a lot of things. They will make a request to import a whole lot of things. Our duty is to ensure those things are done here. So we can go through the list quickly. But the reasons are very simple. One, that we link mining to the rest of the economy. Then we can support manufacturing. A whole lot of things are fabricated which are required by the mines. Industries should be able to do them here. That's one. Two, we should also put money in the pocket of Ghanaians where they should be able to provide certain services or certain supplies rather than importing them. And then secondly, and overall, allow mining to contribute to broad-based development. That is the goal of all these things that we are doing. And if you look at the list, I can talk about 3 things. One, certain items have been on the list all these years. Having looked at the reports and checked what we do, we are now convinced that these are things Ghanaians have the capacity to do. So for certain items, we are saying that we will no longer allow foreigners to come and do them. My favorite is contract mining. Contract mining. Contract mining alone is close to $1 billion for surface operation. So we are saying that anybody who has an open pit or a surface mine, you have to get a Ghanaian to do the drill, blast, and haul and all those things for you. Don't bring in a foreigner to come and do it. Effective this year, they are complying. We'll get into the penalties and the reporting requirements later on. And when you look at them, you have no choice than to follow the law. So that's $1 billion. The money will stay here. That's my favorite slogan. So that is one. Lubricants. Lubricants. Providing lubricants to the mining companies. Until last year, anybody could do it. So the likes of Total, Vivo, and Co can do it. We are saying that effective this year, a foreign entity cannot supply lubricants to the mining companies. This is almost about $100 million or more. It could go up. So you add that to contract mining, you are going over $1 billion. So this is also one item that is exclusively reserved for Ghanaians. And then what shocked me was that, and I don't know how it escaped us. If you look at this item, overalls and work clothes, it's been on the list for all this while. And I'm wondering why this stuff that they wear, 60 plus, years of independence, these clothes and things should be imported. When we have a lot of textiles and garment factories that could do these things locally. So we are also saying that these items should be done locally, don't import. So that's the first category on the list. Items that are now exclusively for Ghanaian companies. In other words, your shareholders and your directors must be 100% Ghanaians. That is the first group. Now the second group is where we are saying that we have some capacity but not total. So we allow some foreign participation. So over the years, as we build capacity, like we did for contract mining, open pit, and then we'll say, now look, it's enough. Ghanaians can do it, get out. And what are the examples there? Underground mining. If you want to go down, technology, you need a lot of money. Technology, we are not there yet. But even that one, some Ghanaians have taken up the challenge. So if you go to the deepest mine in Ghana, now Obuasi, it's a JV between a Ghanaian and a foreign entity, and it's 50-50. So it tells you that eventually, years down the line, Ghanaians will be able to do underground mining on their own. So we are allowing some form of foreign participation because of the money involved, and in particular the technology, which is so advanced that we are not there yet. So that's also another example. And then you also have the third category where over the years we have realized that, look, These things are there, but then we have not looked at them. What do? So 2 examples stand out clearly. Financial services, and that's my favorite. Financial services and insurance. Now, what are we saying? We are saying that effective this year, look at the number of mining companies in Ghana here. Over 400 plus. Okay? There are close to about 20 or so that are producing, those in exploration, etc. Practically every item, asset, or infrastructure at their site is insured. I want to believe that GBC here, almost everything here is insured. And that's a lot of money. We are saying not less than 20% of the insurance you place for all your assets at your mine site, including even the staff there, at least you go to insurance companies owned by Ghanaians. We, Minerals Commission, we are not the regulator. So we reach out to the regulator, National Insurance Commission. They brought the companies, they have about 9 or so. We have written to the mining companies that they should comply. And
they have the capacity to.
Of course. They have the capacity. You have to start from somewhere. I have just told you that there's a Ghanaian doing underground mining, Rockshaw. They are in Obuasi here. You have to start from somewhere.
That's why you're starting with 20 and not.
Well, we got the list from the National Insurance Commission, and they are saying, we said, look, give us the names of the insurance companies that are owned by Ghanaians. That is, again, to repeat, the directors and shareholders 100% Ghanaians. 9 names were brought. We've passed it on to the industry, and we are saying, please go out and reach out to these people and then do the insurance with them. Now, I'll distinguish that one from the financial one. Maybe last year, some of them might have insured their, properties or assets with some other companies that are not 100% Ghanaian. Maybe somewhere in December or October or November. So maybe it's for a year. So some of them walk into our office and say, look, I have an insurance company, maybe about 90% with this entity that is foreign. But it will expire somewhere in June this year. Are you suggesting I cancel it because you have brought this new requirement? I said no. Once it expires, then make sure that the new placement, at least 20% goes to Ghanaian companies. That is one. Now, where we are interested in is a financial services. We are talking about industry where receipts from the sale of minerals is over $6 billion. Very soon we'll hit 10 billion because of the expansion, because of the new development. Again, here we are saying a minimum of 20% of the entire financial transactions of the mining companies should be reserved for Ghanaian banks. Again, we wrote to Bank of Ghana. They brought the list. We've passed it on. So we are looking at the likes of NIB. We are looking at the likes of Agri Development Bank, CBG, Car Bank, and Co. They should go out there, engage them. So if your turnover is, let's say, $400 million or $300 million, in your report, which you have to file with us not later than a month at the end of the year, I would like to see that maybe this amount of money that you got from the sale of minerals, 20% at least went through these banks. And we will check. I will come to the penalties, and you can understand why, if you fall foul of this law, it's not a good news. So these are some of the things that we are doing. So these ones have been enhanced. And we'll do that every year. Every year we are bound to review the list. Either add, reduce, or stay where we are. But we'll never reduce because Ghanaians are improving their capacity every day. So hopefully by September, October, we'll come out with new items, or the ones that are just on the list, we'll enhance them again, engage industry, and by January, we'll publish them.
It's quite an extensive list that I'm looking at of goods and services, and some I can figure out, some I cannot. But it seems like there is an attempt to just industrialize and make the mining purchases more local based. So source more of their material from Ghanaian companies with Ghanaian workers, right?
It's not an attempt. We have no choice than to do it.
Backed by the law that's now been put.
The resources belong to 30 million plus Ghanaians. We have a responsibility to this nation, the people of Ghana, to ensure that this stuff that they dig out, the money comes back, or at least reasonably some of the products and services that they can procure. I mean, overalls and work clothes you import, or you allow a foreign company to supply fuel to the mine. lubricants that we cannot do here. And I have over 10 plus Ghanaians who are doing contract mining, Goldfields, Anglo-Gold Ashanti, including the biggest gold producing company in the world, Newmont, is here. They have not complained. Why should we open the doors to foreigners? They will not do that. Elsewhere, they even give subsidies to their companies to stay afloat, just to protect them. That is it. So we have a duty to ensure that mining benefits this country. We are tired of hearing 100 years of mining, and we have communities that don't look like places where we've dug stuff. We'll get there, and we are doing it. So it's not as if it's an attempt. We have to do it, and we are doing it. We're going to do it.
Talk to us about the reporting requirements that come under this.
Now, before we go to the reporting requirements, this is what you must know, or this is what is expected. If you're a mining company, you are supposed to give us a procurement plan. That's what the law says. 5 years. The plan, we expect to see 3 things in the plan. 1, your targets of local procurement having regard to the items on the list. So, for example, these 41 items, Newmont, if they submit their plan, they should be able to tell me that this one, I have no choice because the law says 100% Ghanaian, so I'm going to give it to a Ghanaian. This one, I want to procure this one 40% locally, or import 60, or procure 30, next year I'll move to 60, whatever. So that is a plan. You submit it to us. We'll review it and approve it. That is it. Now, you must also tell us the prospects for local procurement and even the service providers, how you can assist them and broaden their opportunity, including technical assistance. Some of them even train them. So once we approve your plan, at the end of the year, so come end of December, by January 31st, 2023, I'm expecting a full report from the mining companies that they have complied fully with the plan we approve for them. So if you come and tell me that I'm going to procure this item 60% locally, at the end of the day you do 40%, I will have a problem with you why you didn't get the entire system.
And before we wrap up, what talk to us about this, the penalties, because
the penalties,
we talked about it already.
The penalties, for instance, if you import an item which you are supposed to procure locally, you pay the full value of the the duty, and then 5% of the import value. If it's services, 5%. If it's an expatriate you brought, you pay 1 year gross salary.
So it's all to ensure that they comply with the regulations.
Actually, some of the fines $10,000 CD equivalent, and for every day, $5,000 US. So a lot of them have been fined millions. I'm not happy about that. We don't have that urge to fine you and rush to fine you, but we want you to do the right thing. Maybe next week I will spend a lot of time on the fines. Yeah. They are quiet, if you can permit me to use the word, very dangerous, and no company will go near that. You could end up paying about $20, $30, even $50 million worth of fines.
We'll talk about the penalties next week.
Okay.
So this wraps it up very nicely for us. We are still talking about the new procurement list. Regulation 24. LI 2431, the Minerals Commission is educating mining companies and indeed the general public on what the law requires companies to do when it comes to procuring some items locally. So 41 items on this new list, and Mr. Ayisi, who is the CEO of the Minerals Commission, has been helping us understand that. Next week, perhaps he will come back to help us understand the penalties and what Ghana stands to benefit from the local content and local participation regulation set in place by the Minerals Commission. Mr. Martin Ayisi is the CEO of the Minerals Commission. You can catch this interview and all other information concerning the Minerals Commission on their social media handles. Find them on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Look for Minerals Commission Ghana. This is still Breakfast Live on GTV, and you can watch this as well on our Facebook page, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We'll take a quick break, and I'll say thank you, Mr. Ayisi. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
We'll be back after the break.
Yes.